and welcome to Frugal Gamer. Now, today I'm going to be covering 5 assets that are actually liabilities. Now, if you have clicked on the video because of the title and or the thumbnail, I'm guessing you're the average Joe who doesn't really know the difference between an asset and a liability. So I'm just going to touch up a little bit on that today with 5 assets that are actually liabilities. So let's go ahead and just jump into this. Number 1 is going to be a house and or property. Now, the reason that these are not actual assets is because you end up having to tack on so many more bills along with this purchase. When you purchase this and you're done purchasing it, you have to pay literally so many bills more than you used to just so you can have this luxury of a house. And the same thing goes with the property too. So it really just depends on how you use it and what you are using it for, if that makes any sense. For example, if you buy a house and you are trying to start a business like I am, or a property like I am, if you're just buying a property and you want to build a house on it, that's fine, but that's going to cost you millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands at the cheapest. And with buying an actual home on the property and everything, you're essentially having to pay a mortgage, which is basically the same thing as rent, in my eyes anyways. You have to pay your electric bill. And for me personally, I only have 3 main bills, which is the rent, the electric, and then the phone bill. You're going to have to pay all those, plus water, gas, and on top of that, you still have excess expenses for like repairs and home improvement and all this other stuff that comes with a house. Whereas with just an apartment, you don't have to worry about water sometimes, or you don't have to worry about gas sometimes. And if you're lucky like I was, you won't have to worry about either of them. And in some cases, you can get even better than that. But with an apartment, you only have to pay, whatever is in the lease plus the rent, and then you don't have to worry about repairs. You don't have to worry about replacing anything. You don't have to worry about anything like that. Maybe some basic home improvement that they won't cover, like shelves and bookcases and, stuff that ends up going on the wall. But aside from that, you really don't have to pay anything, which is why a house is actually more of a liability than it is an asset. But like I said, if you're using it for business, that can be where the actual corporation is, or headquarters, I should say. But I'm going to move on to number 2, which is vehicles. Now, here's why vehicles are more of a liability than they are an asset. So, your biggest asset may be time, and vehicles may save you time, but in the long run, what you're actually doing is you're spending like 5 times the amount of money that you would if you were to just have a bike. No matter which way you put it. Even if you try to save on gas every chance you get, and you plan your day out, and you do all that, sometimes it's just better to have a bike. Because with a vehicle, you have to worry about insurance. You have to worry about your driver's license just to be able to actually drive it. You have to worry about your license plate. You have to worry about any damages that end up occurring. You have to worry about paying the mechanic for that. You have to worry about buying gas. You have to worry about new tires and brake pads and brakes and oil and all this other stuff. Whereas with a bike, the only thing you really need to worry about is rust, the tires, and the chain, pretty much. That's all it really is. And as long as those things work, you should be fine. Number 3, which is subscription boxes. Subscription boxes. Now, the reason why subscription boxes are more of a liability than they are an asset is because with a subscription box, typically, for example, how I do my Geek Fuel unboxings, we have a bunch of collectibles all around here. And we get like the pizza cutter and the apron and all that, and majority of the time these things just clutter up your home, whether it just be the packaging or the items themselves. Either way, you're just cluttering up your home to where you're gonna have to eventually just get rid of the stuff, or you're gonna have to get rid of other stuff just to make up for that stuff. So it's something that you really got to think about as to how you're conserving your space in your home. But of course, with subscription boxes, like I said with the number 1, which is the house and the property, with the subscription boxes, it really just depends on how you use them. For example, if you go with Mentor Box and they actually help you in your life, those books that you get through there, then you're getting more of an asset out of it than a liability. But that's still $7 a month for a book that is only like 50-50 shot of actually helping you out. Now, if the majority of them are helping you out, great, keep it. Or, you know, if you're doing the Loot Crate and then you decide to sell the stuff, great, you're making more money. Or, you know, whatever the case may be. Just remember that these subscription boxes can add up, and the items in them can also add up really quickly if you decide to keep these things. Number 4 is actually something that not a lot of people touch up on, surprisingly, and that is printers. Now, printers are more of a liability than they are an asset, because nowadays, in 2018, you have to pay a subscription to a certain company so that they will give you the services to be able to do certain things on your printer. So in order for you to get the most out of your printer, you have to sign up for this subscription and pay this monthly fee or this yearly fee if that's what you went with. Not only that, but it's using up more electricity. And on top of that, you have to replace the ink and the paper, and you have to make sure that it doesn't, you know, fry out or anything like that. Otherwise, you're going to have to either replace it or repair it. And that's another cost on your things to take care of. And then number 5 is your television. Now, this is another thing that not a lot of people touch up on, is your television. In and of itself is also a liability and not an asset. Now, if you are using your television to help you with your work, which is what I try to do, or any of the skills that you're learning, then maybe it is more of an asset for you. But for most people, it's more of a liability. Because for most people, they'll buy a game console with it, they'll buy internet, they'll buy game consoles, I already said that. They'll buy a DVD player, you know, they'll buy all this crap to go with the television just so they can actually use this thing. Or, you know, cable box or whatever the case may be. They automatically get it in their head what else they can pay for, or what they can spend on, I should say, to make the television more valuable. Most of the time, this is a liability, but for people like me who use it for improving their skills, or it's related to their profession or their business, you know, the industry that they're trying to get into, those were the 5 assets that are actually liabilities. If you liked it, go ahead and like it, you know, blah blah blah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.